Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the product to sum and sum to product identities. So first, I will prove some of the identities. These aren't used very often, so I'll show you the idea behind them, and then I'll go through a couple different exercises that use them. If there's desire to see more of the proofs, I can always make more videos, but I'll get you the gist of them for now. Okay, so really the way that these identities work is you add some of the other identities that we've talked about in other videos. So like cosine of a plus b plus cosine of a minus b. So if I just straight up take those identities and add them, so here we are, and you see what happens, right? These actually cancel out. So then I'm left with 2 cosine a cosine b. And so this produces like a couple of different identities as a result. So first of all, I have that cosine of a plus b plus cosine of a minus b equals 2 cosine a cosine b. Or if I wanted to manipulate this, I could write this as 1/2 of this whole side. So just divide both sides by 2 basically equals cosine a cosine b. So kind of just depends on how you want to look at things, I guess. Okay, so what about if I were to subtract these? So now if I just go through and I just straight up subtract these two identities. So here I am doing my subtraction, and now you'll notice that the cosines drop out, and then I have this negative and this negative, so this becomes a positive. So I get 2 sine A sine B. And so very similar logic here. I can have this identity. I can think of my identity as you see here, or I could divide both sides by 2. And if I divide both sides by 2, now I get something that looks like this equals sine A sine B. So yeah, it's like there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of think about this and look at this. These are identities where I kind of feel like you don't necessarily need to memorize these because you can really figure them out pretty quickly on the fly. But without further ado, these are the product to sum identities, so I'm not going to prove all of them, but you kind of just saw the gist of them, right? So if you wanted to figure out this one, you would literally just add sine of a plus b and sine of a minus b. So if you did that, then you would see this result somewhat quickly. So these are the product to sum identities. And then related to this, we have the sum to product identities. And I'm not gonna prove these. I'm gonna omit that. I feel like I've done a lot of proofs in these videos. If you wanted to figure them out, I mean, you could just go ahead and apply sine of a plus b over 2 cosine of a minus b over 2. So you can take these identities and plug them in and you would get this result. Okay, so now I just really want to show you how to use these identities. So what are some exercises that could come up? One way you could use these would be, so write as a sum or difference of 2 trig functions. So I have this here, and if I look at my list of product to sum identities, so that was sine times cosine. So I really need to use this identity here because this is sine of something times cosine of something. Okay, so if I do that and I just straight up apply the identity and plug in those different degree measures, this is what I would be left with. And then I'd also have this 2 times 1/2 because right there was this 2 in front here. So ultimately I would be left with this, and this fulfills the directions, right? So the directions said to write this as the sum or difference of 2 trig functions. So here are my 2 trig functions. They just both happen to be sine. And if I want to go another way with this, so say I have 8 times sine of 9x sine of 5x, well, this might be a good time for you to try this. So if you want to write this down, you can pause the video, and I'll actually just put this up, and then you can figure this out. Highly recommend that you actually try this on your own, just because, math is not a spectator sport. Okay, so pause the video, hit play when you're ready. So I've got sine of 9x, sine of 5x. So looking through these, I'm going to use this identity here. So I'm just going to plug everything in. So there I go, plugging everything in. So this becomes 4 times cosine of 4x minus 4 times cosine of 14x. There, done. Now we've got the 2 trig functions. Okay, and then the other way, so now going from the sum to the product, so just showing you how to use those identities. So let's say I've got cosine of 6x plus cosine of 9x. Can you tell I have been filming for a while today? Okay, so cosine plus cosine, going to use this identity here, right? So again, you might want to just pause the video, take a moment to, just acclimate yourself and orient yourself with this, and then just plug everything in, and then you can hit play when you're ready. So here I've gone and plugged everything in. So now you can see that this is a product. So now I just finished the math here. So here would be my product. Okay, and then one more time. So sine of 106 degrees minus sine of 96 degrees. Okay, so same idea, right? So again, maybe just consider writing this down, pausing the video, and then you have your selection of these identities. So, hit play when you're ready. So I'm going to use this identity here. So I'm just going to plug everything in. So I've got a 2 cosine of 106 degrees plus 96 degrees divided by 2, and then sine of 106 degrees minus 96 degrees divided by 2. So that'll just come out to what you see here after I do all my division and everything. So there I have fulfilled the directions again. And so yeah, this was just a very quick video. Like I said, those identities don't get used a ton, but just wanted to kind of make sure I touched on them a little bit. And otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in another video.